So today we're exploring one of Portland's most historic, elegant, centrally located and most sought after neighborhoods, and that's Irvington here in northeast Portland. Now this neighborhood is a little bit special to me because I actually live here, so I have a little bit of extra insight on what it's like to live here on a day-to-day basis. So in this video we'll take a walk through the neighborhood. I'll show you the local places to eat, we'll cover Irving Park, I'll talk about all the schools, and of course we'll touch on real estate and home prices. So please join me as we explore Irvington here in northeast Portland. So hello and welcome to a warm and beautiful morning here in the Irvington neighborhood, located here in northeast Portland. Now if you're new to my channel, then welcome along. My name is David Backholer. I'm a real estate broker and I specialize in helping people relocate to the Portland metro area. Now every week I put out new videos like this just to help people understand the different areas and for you to explore the different neighborhoods. That way you can really see what it might be like to live here. Now if you have more questions about what it's like to buy in the Portland metro area, feel free to reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. Okay, so now let's move on to the topic of today's video and talk about why Irvington might be a great fit for you. And let's start things off and talk about the location. Now in a moment I'll bring up the map so you can see where this area is located. But the things to keep in mind is that this is one of Portland's older neighborhoods, so therefore it's built much closer to the center of the city. However, the Willamette River does separate the high rises of downtown to this very residential neighborhood. Let me spin around so you can see some of the houses and certainly the tree-lined streets that we're on. Now, Irvington is a well-positioned neighborhood. It's very central. Getting into downtown is only about 10 minutes, so the location is highly desirable for many people. Makes it one of the many reasons why it's a top area to live. Okay, now let's bring out that map and you can see exactly where we're located. Okay, so we're on our map of Portland, and Irvington you'll see is up here in this red dotted outline. This is in northeast Portland, but what you can see is it's very centrally located. To get from Irvington to downtown Portland, which is down here, or the Pearl District, which is up here, that's only going to take you around 10 minutes, so it's very, very central. However, the high rises are all down in this area, still the other side of the Willamette River. So Irvington overall is very much a residential neighborhood, almost all single family homes. The exception is going to be on the southern edge of Irvington. So let me just zoom in a little bit. Southern edge of Irvington, so along Broadway, Schuyler, Hancock, there will be some apartment buildings. Some of them are actually quite cute and adorable. There could be like fourplex buildings that are still 100 years old. There's a few newer ones along there as well, but overall, the majority of Irvington is single family homes, just a few exceptions along the southern tip of the area. Excuse me. So let me just show you what else we have nearby. I'll talk about Grant Park a little bit in this video. So Grant Park is the neighborhood immediately east of Irvington, and then Grant High School is in the middle of Grant Park, so right over here. PDX Airport, beautiful airport. I think it's actually recently been voted the best airport in the country because it's really spectacular. It's going to be about 20 to 25 minutes from Irvington to get to PDX Airport. So again, Irvington's really nicely located. Let's just scroll in a little bit. Along the northern tip, and I cover this in part of the video, in a section of the video, Fremont Street, and this corner of Fremont Street right here on 15th Avenue, you got a Whole Foods, UPS store, there's a Starbucks, there's a coffee shop, there's several little places along here. You got a sushi restaurant right on the corner right here as well. A little bit further east, there's a little bit more on this corner on 24th. Luca, fantastic Italian restaurant. Gilda, excuse me, is right there as well. So along Fremont Street, you've got quite a few things, mainly this corner around 15th and on 24th. And then as you go further, and it kind of goes up a hill into the Grant Park, Beaumont, Wiltshire neighborhood, you've got a lot more along Fremont Street. Knott Street, which goes right through the middle of Irvington. It's kind of a through street for the residents of the area. It's not really going to be a busy traffic neighborhood, unlike Broadway and Wheeler down here. But Knott is kind of a single lane, bit of a through street. Most cars on this road will probably be for the neighborhood or Grant Park or stay in this area. The western edge of Irvington, you've got 26 Cafe. You've also got a Pocket Pub, which I can't quite see here, but there we go, Pocket Pub right here. Adorable little place, couple of little places on the corner. There's also a convenience store on the corner there as well. And then along Broadway, there's a lot of stuff along here. You've got pubs, you've got restaurants. There's a great Thai restaurant called Charm along here I really like. Cadillac Cafe right in the middle here. Beautiful little cafe. It actually has an old Cadillac car in the cafe itself. Kind of a breakfast spot. Steeplejack Brewing Company. This is a fantastic spot. Let's just bring up some photos. This is an old church that's been converted into a brewery pub. So you can see they actually have some of the brewing devices here. I don't know the technical names. And then you can sit at the bar kind of in this church-like vibe. It's kind of a real cool, yeah, this is a good picture of the exterior of the building. So kind of a cool pub. Hopefully not too many of you would be too upset that a church has been converted into a pub. But overall, along here, lots of stuff. There's quite a lot of traffic on Broadway. It's mostly 3 lanes that are actually going through the process today of converting it into 2 lanes. It's a single directional road, and Broadway will take you over the Broadway Bridge directly into the downtown and Pearl District area, the west side of Portland. And then Wheeler is the road that goes the opposite direction. So you've got 2 roads that go in opposite directions. Quite busy, but the goal here for Broadway is to narrow it down from 3 lanes to 2 lanes, make it a bit more pedestrian friendly. Now, the southwest corner of Irvington, this is the older section of Irvington, so you're going to find a few Victorian homes in this area, whereas most parts, especially kind of the northwest and northeast part of Irvington, homes there are going to be mixed between 1905, 1925, kind of in that era. The larger homes are from that 1905 to 1915. The smaller 2,000 square foot, 2,500 square foot, adorable bungalow style homes, they're all like 1925-ish homes. Irving Park in the northwest corner of Fremont, big park, I'll cover that in the video. And then in terms of other places nearby, you've got Alberta, Alberta Street, Alberta Arts District. There's probably about 20 blocks of bars, restaurants, cafes, art galleries. It's kind of a fun place, boutique shops to be in the close area. So if you're in the northern tip of Irvington, it's about a 15-minute walk, and it's up a hill to get it to Alberta. So overall, Irvington, fantastic location. Very, very central. Lots of stuff in the neighborhood, bars, restaurants, cafes. It's a cute area, very residential, lots of tree-lined streets. But let's jump back into the main part of the video and explore what makes Irvington so special. Okay, time for a small history lesson, and let's take a moment to talk about where the name Irvington actually comes from. And the neighborhood was named after Elizabeth Irving, and she was one of Portland's early pioneering families. Her father, Captain William Irving, he was a well-known steamboat captain on the Columbia River in the mid-1800s, and the Irvings owned a large parcel of land east of downtown Portland, and land that would eventually become the Irvington neighborhood we know today. Now, after Captain Irving passed away, his family began to subdivide and develop the land, with much of that work happening in the late 1800s and in the early 1900s. And it was Elizabeth's name that was chosen to honor the family's role in shaping this area. Now today, Irvington remains one of the most historically impacted neighborhoods in the city. You'll see it's filled with early 20th century homes that really reflect the legacy of the area. Okay, so Fremont Street, which is kind of a busy-ish through road, it's like a single lane road, that runs along the northern edge of the neighborhood. This is where you're going to find several small coffee shops, restaurants and cafes. And this is the corner of Fremont and Northeast 15th Avenue. Now behind me you can just about see there's a Whole Foods back there, there's a UPS store, Starbucks, credit union. You've also got a little bit further down there, Cafe Destina, great place to grab coffee. You've got Free House, which is a great place to grab a drink, and then also Fat Miller's Cafe, and that's a great place for food any time of the day. Now, about 9 blocks east of here, so kind of down Fremont or that way, on the corner of Fremont and 24th, you have Luca, and that's a fantastic Italian restaurant, and then Gilda, and that's another great place to grab coffee. Now, there are also several other places within Irvington to grab a bite to eat or to shop. This includes along the west edge of the neighborhood on 7th Avenue. This is where you'll find Pocket Pub, which are known for their pizzas. And then next door you have 26 Cafe. And then on the southern edge of Irvington you have Broadway. And this is a much busier street, and it's a through street, and it's 2 lanes of traffic or 3 lanes of traffic in certain places. So it's quite a busy road. And that's a road that will take you into downtown on the west side. But along Broadway you have a whole host of stores, bars, local boutiques. The Steeplejack Brewery Company is one of my favorite spots. That's an old church that's been converted into a fully functional brewery and has a really cool vibe inside. Okay, so let's take a moment and talk about the homes that you'll typically find in this area. It's worth keeping in mind that Irvington is a designated historic district, and that means you'll find some of the most beautiful late 19th, early 20th century homes in the entire city. Now, the neighborhood is also primarily single family homes, and they range from around 2,000 square feet up to 4,000 square feet. You will find some condos and apartment buildings. You'll also find some homes that are a little bit larger than that. Especially on the southern end, you're going to find a few larger apartment buildings, but primarily the neighborhood itself is a historical area and mostly single family homes. Now, the southwest corner of Irvington was the first section of the neighborhood to be built. This is where you're going to find some stunning Victorian homes. And elsewhere in the neighborhood you'll find plenty of craftsman homes built around 1905 through 1915. These tend to be on the larger side, generally over 3,000 square feet. And then throughout the neighborhood you'll find plenty of smaller, cute, adorable bungalows and Tudor homes built in the mid-1920s, and they tend to be around 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. It's also not uncommon to find Mediterranean style homes throughout the neighborhood too. Now, because it is a historic district, teardowns are extremely limited. What you get is a truly preserved and cohesive neighborhood feel. You'll also notice the streets are covered in these mature tree line almost every block. And then there are some streets that are incredibly wide here because the old streetcars used to go up and down many of these streets with the tracks buried beneath the tarmac. Now, later on in the video, we'll talk about home prices in a lot more detail. But it's important to keep in mind that this is a fairly expensive neighborhood, mainly due to its location and then desirability. Smaller homes will start off in the mid 700,000s, but realistically, if you're looking for something around 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, you're going to be around $1 million. And if you're looking for a larger home, you should also budget somewhere in the region of $1.2 million up to $1.5 million. Now, many homes include a finished or partially finished basement, and you'll often see detached garages, but some homes won't even have a garage. 2-car garages in this neighborhood, they're almost impossible to find. Now, because the neighborhood is well established and it's tightly zoned, inventory is always limited here. So when something comes on the market, it is important to act quickly. So this afternoon I'll be hosting an open house at this property behind me on Northeast 24th Avenue, and this is right in the center of Irvington. Now, this property was built in 1910. It has 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms. It's 2,668 square feet, and it's listed for $1,075,000. So let's take a quick look around. Okay, so let's turn our attention and talk about schools. So if education is important to you, then this is going to be one of the very best neighbourhoods in the entire city to consider. Now, a couple of months ago, I put out a video on the top rated schools based on data from greatschools.org, and according to their website, there's only 6 elementary schools in Portland that received a perfect 10 out of 10 rating, and 3 of those 6 are in this area. Now, in the centre of the neighbourhood behind me is the Irvington Elementary School, and that gets a perfect 10 out of 10 rating. On the northeast corner of Irvington is the Alameda Elementary School that also received a perfect 10 out of 10 rating. And then east of Irvington in the Grant Park neighbourhood, and that's just the neighbourhood immediately over, has a very similar vibe of historical, beautiful homes and tree-lined streets. There you have the Harriet Tubman Elementary School and Middle School, and that also received a perfect 10 out of 10 rating. Now, according to greatschools.org, the 2 highest high schools in the area are the Lincoln School, which is on the west side of downtown Portland, and then Grant High School, and that's where everybody who lives in Irvington will be able to go to. The Grant High School catchment area is fairly large and covers a large part of northeast Portland, and that's one of the highest rated high schools in the area. Now, one more option for you to consider is the Madeline Catholic Primary School that's located on the eastern side of Irvington. So to summarize, you have some of the very best elementary, middle and high schools located throughout Portland in this Irvington neighborhood. Okay, so let's turn our attention to parks and recreation. And you've probably seen throughout the video that the neighborhood is full of tree-lined streets and beautiful yards, and I would definitely describe Irvington to be a green neighborhood. Now, the main park in Irvington where I'm currently standing is Irving Park, and again named after the Irving family that developed this area. This is located in the northwest corner of the neighborhood, and it borders Fremont Street. Now, it's one of the most popular parks in all of Portland, and it features open fields, which you can see behind me. There's tennis courts over there. There's a kids play area which is very active in the summer months right now. There's off-leash dog area, and then plenty of spaces for a picnic or relax. You're also a fairly short distance from Grant Park. That's just east of here, and Grant Park also has a pool which is open during the summer months. Now, in the middle of the neighborhood you have the Irvington Tennis Club, one of the neighborhood's most iconic institutions, and it's this building right behind me, and it's founded in 1898. It's one of the oldest tennis clubs in the Pacific Northwest. It's been a social and athletic hub for the community for well over a century. The clubhouse itself is a beautiful historic building with old Portland charm, and the club offers both indoor and outdoor courts, lessons, events, and even a fitness center. And there's also an outside pool there too, which is open during the summer months. Okay, so before we continue, I just wanted to take a moment and remind you that I am a real estate broker based here in Portland, Oregon, and I specialize in helping people relocate to the area. So if you are thinking of moving here, please feel free to give me a call, send me a text, send me an email, or you can scan that QR code you see on the screen. That way you can set up a one-on-one Zoom call with me, and we can talk through your specific needs. Now, also, if you're enjoying the video, please consider giving it a like, subscribe to my channel. That way you'll receive all the latest content when it's released. Okay, so now let's take a little walk and drive through the neighborhood, and then when we come back, we'll take a closer look on how much it costs to purchase a home here. Okay, so now let's spend a few minutes to see how much it costs to buy a home in the Irvington neighborhood. And I'm on my website and I've got Irvington pretty much loosely outlined. But to give you kind of the high, medium, low price points for you to think about, entry-level price points in Irvington for single-family homes are going to be in the 700,000s. You may get something low 700,000s, but overall 700,000 is really a starting point. You might find something less than that if it's a bit of a fixer or something super small, but 700,000 really is going to get you somewhere around 18 to 2,000 square foot home, one of those cute sort of bungalow style homes. Now if you want something a little bit larger and grander, a 2,500 square foot home up to 3,000 square foot home, those are going to be around $1 million, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, but in that ballpark of $1 million. And then anything over 3,000 square feet is going to be over $1 million fairly comfortably. Could be up to 1.2 million. And then there are some homes in the area that are going to be much, much more than that. And there's one actually listed here that we'll talk about in a moment. But really, anywhere between 700,000 and 1.5 million is where the bulk of the homes in this neighborhood will be. And that's significantly more than the median home price for a property in Portland. That's around 550,000. So Irvington, highly desirable, very central, historically significant. Therefore, it really keeps those prices on the much higher end. Now, again, before we start looking at some homes, remember, this is a historic area. That means most of the homes are 100 years older, 100 years old or older. Victorians through to the mid-1920s, where the bulk of the homes will be. So that's going to give you the style of homes. Now, let me just zoom in a little bit. Let's take a look at this one right here. $1.395 million. Now, I've picked on this particular house for a reason. I actually haven't looked through the interior pictures, but based on the exterior of this home, the picture itself, this is one style of home that you're going to see throughout the neighborhood. And there's several styles of homes, so Mediterranean, Victorian, bungalow, and I think this is like 4-square style homes. But the larger homes, and this is considered larger, they're going to be built around 1905 through 1915. And this one here, built in 1910. The smaller 2,000, 2,500 square foot homes, bungalow style homes I call them, they're all going to be built in the 1920s, 1925 seems to be where you see most homes there. So you can generally kind of guess how old a home is just by looking at it based on the style of the home. This one, 1910. Before we look through the rest of the pictures, let's go through the essential information. This is a larger home, 4,800 square feet. This is pretty big. 6 bedrooms, 3 full bathrooms, and also a half bathroom. Property taxes, pretty high for this property, $20,000 a year. So certainly not cheap, but you definitely get a large property for your money here. Like I say, most homes in Irvington are under 4,000 square feet, so this is definitely on that larger side. Let's take a look at the front porch. Very, very typical for homes in Portland, especially in some of these older neighborhoods. Beautiful, attractive home. Nice, yeah, oh, absolutely stunning inside. Looks like it's been beautifully renovated, nice and really light and bright. You'll see pocket doors, very common in some of these homes in Irvington. Some grand sort of staircases. Sometimes you may see a servant staircase that joins part of it. You may see 2 separate sets of staircases in some of these homes. In fact, I think that's what this is here. So yeah, and then a big open plan kitchen. Look at the size of this fridge freezer. I've not seen something so big. And a huge like industrial style fan there as well. Wow. So that is huge. Big kitchen, definitely for someone who likes to cook. And then you can see this is probably going to be over 4 different floors. So you go upstairs and then another set of stairs into the attic area is probably what I think we will see in this house. And then the basement may or may not be finished. Screened-in porch. Sometimes this was like the sleeping porch that you've seen screen-in. That's quite common. Beautiful bathroom, yeah, nice big walk-in closets. And then basements, something to call out. in homes in Oregon, in Portland in particular, where you see the square footage number, that will always include the basement, and it doesn't matter if that's finished space or not. So keep that in mind. In this case, this looks like it's the basement, beautifully done. So a second kind of living area, a nice headroom overall as well. So definitely adds value. Lots of bathrooms, beautiful house. And then, yeah, gorgeous backyard. I mentioned earlier briefly about garages. In this neighborhood, you will find some homes that are built above the garage. You'll never, yes, I won't say never. You will find a few homes that have 2-car garages. Very, very, very rare. A detached garage is perhaps the most common. Many houses, mine included, actually does not have a garage. So just something to keep in mind, that a 2-car garage, you're probably not going to find 1-car garage, which is kind of used as a shed, more likely. Most people just park on their driveways. But overall, this is a great option. It shows you kind of what you get for your money if you're at the top end. $1.4 million, just under, really is the high end. And I will show you one higher than this, but this is kind of the high end for a normal large home in Irvington. Let's look at a few more options, perhaps on the opposite end of the scale. Okay, something completely different now. So again, this is a large home, it's just under $1 million. I've actually been through this home a couple of times with a client. It does need a little bit of work. Some of the stucco that this house has is failing. Stucco houses can be a problem here. We do get a lot of rain, and it can be not just costly to repair, but hard to find the issue. Fixing, wood siding homes is quite easy. You just remove the piece that's dry rot and put a new piece here. Stucco tends to be a little bit of a harder thing to fix. Not impossible, but it's worth keeping in mind. Again, this one's built in 1926. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 3,100 square feet. So it's a good price for this house. Like I say, I have been through this one. Property taxes, just under $11,000. This home, it's a little bit dated inside, nothing terrible. Probably needs I'm going to say $250,000 to really bring it up to and modernize it. You don't have to spend that much money if you don't want to, obviously, but it kind of bring it up to today's standards. Renovate the basement. That's what it will probably cost. But that's an extreme renovation. We're including redoing the siding. But overall, you can see just the charm of it. Nice big windows. In fact, did I skip over this room right here? Oops, sorry. This room right here is off to the side of the house, and it's kind of like a second living room, piano room, conservatory reading room. Really, really pretty room overall. And then this is the kitchen. A little dining table down here, and this goes down to the basement, which is not finished, but it is included in that square footage. This is the 1 bedroom that's upstairs, huge bedroom. Behind where this photo was taken is some doors that go out to a little patio up there. Lots of built-in closets. This is the door I mentioned. It goes up to a little patio. Beautiful area. You can kind of look down on the area and the neighborhood. Beautiful area. And then the bathroom's so grand and spectacular. So kind of this huge little shower and just kind of grand room. And then there's 2 further bedrooms. This one's a Murphy bed on the main level. So 1 bedroom upstairs, 2 bedrooms on the main level. 1 full bathroom upstairs, and then this is the full bathroom on the main level, and an unfinished basement space. Okay, let's look at a few more options. Okay, so to recap that home, that's just under $1 million, and that's kind of in the northeast corner of Irvington on 22nd and Cleckytat Street. Let's look at something a little different. I haven't looked at this one yet. $795,000. Let's take a look at this one. $795,000. This is, again, in 1925. This is really what I'm talking about, the small bungalow style homes. That's what I mean by that. It's not that small, 2,400 square feet. It's certainly not a small home. 4 beds, 2 bathrooms, probably hasn't had the basement renovated. These pictures don't seem to do it. Yeah, unfortunately, this is like bad quality photography. Not the right way to sell a house. Too dark, but it gives you the idea of the house, kind of a nice character you're going to find. Try and use your imagination a little bit. This one does look like a bit of a fixer. You've kind of got a breakfast room, little nook in here as well. And that's the photos. Unfortunately, not great photography. Let's go look at a few more options. Okay, let's look at another one here. This one is $780,000. and it's kind of a cute and adorable exterior of the home. A little unique, but you'll find a few of these. The roof, almost like a little gingerbread style roof with the way it kind of wraps around kind of on the side and on the top up here. And this one, $780,000, 1927 bungalow, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,500 square feet. So again, kind of gives you an idea on the price point for this style home. Overall, the price per square foot is quite good on this home. So let's take a look and see the interior. Kind of a cool, so you've got a garage down here, a little exterior yard, nicely maintained bushes at the front. Yeah, this is a very good example of a home of the style, 1925 bungalow, where you walk in, one side will be living room and then the other side is the dining room. I'm assuming this is dining room because we've got the dining room lights here. Big windows at the front of the house. Very, very typical for 1925 homes in this area. Fireplace to one side of built-ins. Again, it's very, very typical. So something like this, you're going to see quite a lot of these bungalow style homes. Very, very typical. Let's see. The kitchen is going to be off the dining room. This looks like one bedroom down here. Staircase up. Here's the kitchen. Nice kitchen. Good size, actually. Looks like it's nicely updated. So overall, pretty good. Nice and light and bright. Couple of pretty decent. And then that looks like a little breakfast nook or something here, a separate area to eat, and you'll find that quite a bit, little breakfast nooks off the kitchen. And sometimes people convert those little breakfast nooks into beautiful walk-in pantries with their appliances on some countertops. So lots of options. The bathroom here, very, very typical for what you might find kind of in this area. So the kind of the paneling on the walls and the built-ins. You'll see quite a lot of this where it's not been changed from the design. Maybe it's got new white goods in there, but the style and the layout may well be very, very typical and normal. And then upstairs, looks like we've got a bedroom up here, a couple of bedrooms, and then basement is kind of finished, semi-finished, and then laundry down in the basement. Very, very typical. So to recap this one, $780,000, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,500 square feet. Pretty good price, kind of what you might see, a very typical home in this neighborhood. Okay, I want to finish things off and talk about something completely different. Not normal, so gives you kind of an idea of what you could find in the neighborhood. Certainly not a typical home. And that's this property here that's $3.29 million. Now, something I've not talked about yet is that every May in Irvington, we have something called the Irvington Home Tour. And that's where homeowners, 6 to 8 homeowners will open their doors to the general public and allow guests to walk through the homes. Typically, there's a fee involved. I'm actually on the board for the Irvington Home Tour, and May just gone, we raised well over, I think, $60,000. 1,200 people walked through these 8 homes that are on the home tour. This house was on the home tour this year, just a few months ago. The builder is a gentleman called John McCulloch. He's kind of a local builder, lives in Irvington, has a huge home on 17th Avenue. And he's known for very high-end, creating something non-normal, non-typical. You won't just find a home painted pure white throughout the house. And this is something that's kind of a real love project for him. And this is a colonial style home that's something spectacular, but very unique, and it may appeal to really a unique person. 3.3 million obviously isn't it for everybody. The highest priced home that's sold in Irvington is $4 million, right near the Irvington Tennis Club a few years ago. This is built in 1920, 6 bedrooms, 6 full bathrooms, 1 half bathroom, 6,300 square feet, and built on a quarter of an acre. Again, none of those numbers are typical for Irvington, but I need to walk you through some of these pictures of what you'll see inside because it is incredible. And I've not actually looked for the listing, but I have been through this property overall. You'll see colonial style painted walls, just absolutely stunning, kind of the color scheme they've used throughout, kind of some of the attention to detail throughout. You'll see kind of a lot of the style in some of these homes now is to have one wall or a few rooms with some really elegant wallpaper. That's definitely coming back. But look at what they've done in this dining room with the attention to detail. A truly incredible room, something very unique. And this is what I mean about the uniqueness of some of the rooms. It's kind of like a little conservatory area with a very knobbly tree. Just kind of the style in here, something very, very unique. But John McCulloch, the builder, incredible some of the projects you do. And you can kind of walk through the neighborhood and you kind of see, you can almost guess what's a John McCulloch home just from the incredible detail throughout. So very expensive choices, very high-end finishes, non-normal. This is the kitchen, just the tile throughout, the color scheme, but it's breathtaking. This is actually his vehicle in the side, in the garage there, and just beautiful. Even up the stairs, just kind of the attention to detail. Again, a very colonial style home, but this is over 6,000 square feet. Beautiful tile on the floor, on the walls. Unique bathrooms throughout. Again, this is his little truck. You'll see it parked down his home on 17th Avenue around the corner. And in the basement, I actually don't think I went down here. This wasn't open when I walked through it, so it's kind of fun. They've got like a little kids play area with the same exterior of the house down here, so I haven't actually seen that. This house across the street actually is another John McCulloch development. He did it a few years ago, so kind of a blue house with that gingerbread style roof, and I think this is 17th Avenue. I'll take a look in a moment. But again, beautiful, spectacular home. Now this house has, I don't think we've seen it yet, above the garage, more additional space as well, so kind of a separate living area. But overall, this house, it's on corner of Stanton and 17th. Absolutely spectacular, not typical. I've shown you some homes that are typical, but for $3.3 million for a 6-bedroom, 6.5 bathroom, 6,300 square feet, if you're looking for something very unique, this house could be for you. But also, if you're looking for a neighborhood that has spectacular houses like this in it, then this will give you kind of an idea of what you could find just by walking down the street and seeing you're living in a bungalow like I might do, to a house like this within a few blocks of where you live. Really gives you the perspective of what such an attractive neighborhood this is. Okay, so to recap, we've got about 20 houses on the market in Irvington. On the low end, we're in the mid to high 700,000s. Most properties are going to cap out kind of in the mid 1 millions, 1.2. I showed you a beautiful $1.4 million one. The extreme houses could go for over 2 million, could go for over 3 million, but those are very, very rare. Most homes are going to be high 700,000s to $1.5 million. Okay, so let's take a few minutes to recap the pros and cons of living in Irvington. Let's start off with a few pros. And firstly, it's a true gem of a neighborhood. There's spectacular historical homes. You can see a few behind me. Beautiful tree-lined streets, very centrally located with just 10 minutes to downtown, 20 minutes to PDX Airport, and there's plenty of cute neighborhood restaurants and cafes on your doorstep. And however, as much as I do love Irvington, I understand it's not the perfect fit for everybody. Because it's a historic neighborhood, remodeling or adding onto a home can involve more steps and permits, or even just be flat out denied. So if you're dreaming of a big renovation or expanding on your property, you may want to go through the process to understand what's allowed. And of course, prices here can be a factor. Homes here are significantly above the Portland's median home price, and you certainly won't find many budget-friendly options here. However, that said, if you are thinking of buying in Irvington or anywhere across the Portland metro area, I'd certainly love to help you find the perfect home. So feel free to give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. You can even scan that QR code on the screen. That way you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me. But for now, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.